This is the Fertile Mindset podcast, where we explore all the emotional aspects of fertility to support you on your path to parenthood. My name is Sarah Holland. I'm the Fertile Mindset coach and a mother to 2 children after my own fertility challenges. I hope you find all the support and inspiration you need within this podcast to carry you forward on your fertility journey towards your own successful outcome. It's also my wish that through listening to these episodes, you rediscover how to enjoy life now and live it to the full while you wait for your baby. Now, let's begin today's episode. Welcome back to the Fertile Mindset podcast. After the New Year's Day launch of the podcast on Friday, this is the first episode released on a Thursday, which will be our usual podcast day. So remember to subscribe wherever you listen so that you don't miss an episode. Also, if you're listening within the podcast launch week, which ends on Friday, the 8th of January, you can still enter the podcast launch giveaway every time you subscribe to, review, or share this podcast. All the details are at fertilemindset.com/podcast. Now, we're a few days into the new year, so in this episode, let's think about this brand new year ahead that we have, stretching ahead 2021. We've been wishing for this year for a while, haven't we? So we could finally say goodbye to the most challenging year we've collectively faced. However, I know it might be a bit of an anticlimax too. New Year often feels like that anyway. It's that big build-up, the celebration, the kisses and the champagne at midnight, just to wake up the next day to the same life in the same world. And this new year, for much of the world, we are still facing much of the same restrictions of the pandemic, and with the winter months ahead, at least for us here in the Northern Hemisphere. But I know that planning ahead is something that you do when you're on a fertility journey. I lived it myself for over 9 years in total, and I know how having a good plan sustained me. It keeps hope alive and momentum going as you research different solutions and fertility treatments, and often you're living the year from cycle to cycle. And in the new year, often after some excesses over the holidays, the new year feels like the ideal time to create a new plan to stick to and hopefully then boost your fertility or increase your chances of creating a family, however you may do that. So I know you may have that energy right now. Not even a pandemic is going to take that away from you. And that's exactly as it should be. And I want you to build on that focus, even if it's just a tiny spark of motivation right now. So how can we begin to make a plan for the new year? Is it something we need or that would be helpful this year? Let's see if we can help you decide that now, whether you want to make a plan, what that could look like, and importantly, once you've made a plan that you feel good about, how you can stay aligned to the plan and stick to it. First, let's talk about that elephant in the room at this time of year, New Year's resolutions. Can we just agree now not to make any, please? Unless you are the queen of willpower or you just make resolutions that you can easily stick to, like I will brush my teeth every day, then it's likely that your New Year's resolutions are like most other people's and they don't even get into February. That's because most resolutions are asking us to give up something that we love or have an emotional attachment to, like eating chocolate or drinking wine, or to take up something that we don't like or usually avoid, like cooking from scratch every day after a long day at work, or going to the gym 5 days a week when last year we were lucky to make it that many times in the whole year. In order for us to stick to the traditional New Year's resolutions, we need to use a huge amount of willpower, which is essentially just forcing ourselves to do something against our will. Willpower is to overpower our will. And yes, we can do this for a limited period of time until we become fed up and tired with it, and it's just easier to not do the healthy meal prep and instead go to the takeaway app. So, let's look at creating a New Year plan or a new fertility plan that works for you. What I would encourage you to do is to create a plan that works for you emotionally. Now, what do I mean by this and why is this important? Well, if you create a plan for the new year that you feel emotionally good about, it feels uplifting, motivating, exciting, and dare I say it, even fun. And then you won't even need 1 ounce of willpower to stick to it. In fact, you'll wake up every day excited to live your life and take action on your plan. It will feed your soul, light you up, and give you every other feeling that makes it easy and enjoyable to stick to that plan. And of course, if you stick to the plan, you are more likely to get the results you are looking for. So let's take a common element of many New Year plans, especially those focused on optimizing fertility and conceiving a healthy baby, and that is to eat healthier food. Now, I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not going to advise you on how to construct a healthy, fertility-boosting eating plan, but I think that we can all agree that cutting out, say, alcohol and sugar is a good thing, and including more things like fresh fruit and vegetables is also good. None of these things are impossible to do, of course, but they may feel very difficult if we have an emotional attachment to these changes. First, think about what you want to give up or stop doing as part of your New Year fertility plan. Whether that's giving up chocolate or something else, how does it make you feel? If there's a mix of emotions, put your attention on the feelings that are uncomfortable, because those are the ones that will make this change hard. It could be that the thought of giving up on your glass of wine after work or on the weekends, for example, makes you feel like you're missing out. You may feel deprived, like it's unfair that you have to do this when other people fall pregnant so easily, or worry that if you're out with friends and you don't drink, they'll ask why, or worse still, they'll assume that you're pregnant. There can be a lot of emotion around making changes like this. And the other side is taking up healthy habits, such as mostly eating home-cooked food with lots of fresh vegetables, or maybe committing to exercising more often, or whatever yours is. How does that feel? Do you feel any sense of dread, like you can't imagine finding the time, or it just feels too much like hard work? Again, these are emotional attachments and beliefs about the changes that will make them feel near impossible to do. You may find yourself putting it off or making excuses and then getting annoyed with yourself for not starting already or believing you can't do it anyway, so what's the point in trying? Do you see how willpower would really struggle to cut through all of this? So what's the solution? Well, you've already taken the first step just now by thinking about the change you want to make and noticing how it makes you feel, especially the uncomfortable and potentially self-sabotaging thoughts and feelings you have. Once you've acknowledged these, you could then get to know these thoughts a little. Ask yourself, why are they there? Where did they come from? The more we can understand the thoughts and feelings that pop into our mind and give ourselves the compassion we deserve, the easier it is then to work with and work through them. Some people love to journal on their thoughts and say it gives them a real sense of clarity and understanding. It's like the action of getting the thoughts out of their head and onto the paper takes away some of their power and helps them to look at them from a distance. Another technique that is very powerful is using EFT, emotional freedom techniques, on the thoughts, feelings and beliefs. You may have heard me speak about EFT before, as it's the technique I use in all my fertility coaching sessions and in my membership, the Fertile Mindset Sanctuary. It brings quick and effective change in mindset and emotional well-being. It's honestly the best tool I know for emotional support and is so suited to a fertility journey because it works quickly, can be applied to yourself whenever you need it, and it can be used on any emotional challenges. What EFT does when applied correctly is connect you with your most healthy, natural way of looking at a challenge. It connects you back with the facts, with the present moment, and it helps you release anything that wasn't needed. So any fears or worries can melt away and you can see how to best approach whatever the situation is you're facing. So going back to making a New Year plan, and maybe that includes healthy eating habits, if you had been feeling that prepping home-cooked meals every day would be hard work, boring, and believing that you don't have the time, after using EFT on those feelings and beliefs, you may then instead feel energized by the thought of looking at new recipes, buying delicious ingredients, and seeing how tasty you could make the healthy eating. You'd also be able to look at the time you have objectively and create a plan that works for you around work and any other commitments. You might decide to batch cook and freeze meals, or get a slow cooker so you can prep before work and have a healthy home-cooked meal ready at the end of the day. You will find your own creative solutions once you have cleared your mind of the worries and doubts that were crowding in before. A calm, clear mind is a creative, solution-focused mind. If you already know EFT, then get to work using it right away as you think about creating a New Year plan, and then also as you start writing it out and feeling any pushback against your plans. Literally write it down and stop as soon as you feel resistance and tap through whatever is coming up in that moment. It will make the process pain-free and effortless, I promise, and then you'll have created a plan that feels congruent and aligned with you, your goals and your life. I have used this approach with my Fertile Mindset coaching clients on issues as diverse as wanting to research fertility clinics but feeling blocked in doing so, to knowing that they need to sit down and speak to their partner about their fertility plans but avoiding the conversations because they're already assuming they know what they're going to say. There are so many thoughts, emotions and beliefs that can hold us back or just make us feel that everything is much harder work than it needs to be. And that's the last thing that I want for you on your fertility journey. So if you don't know how to use EFT yet, then I strongly encourage you to go over to my website now at fertilemindset.com/sanctuary and sign up for access to my membership, the Fertile Mindset Sanctuary. You can absolutely start with the free level. We won't even need to take any card details, and you'll have immediate access to my hour-long online class called Fertile Mindset Mastery. In this class, I teach you how to use EFT step by step and how to best start using it to support your mindset and your fertility. You're going to love it and get immediate results when you start using this technique, so do go over there now and sign up. It's at fertilemindset.com/sanctuary. You'll get more support too in the free level of membership, and for the paid levels, which start at just £29 a month, I'm running a masterclass on New Year's plans on the 21st of January, where I'm going to be guiding you through exactly how to make a plan that works for you and your fertility, and I'll take you through the EFT tapping to make it super clear and easy. All the details of the paid membership levels of the Fertile Mindset Sanctuary are there as soon as you register for your free starting level at fertilemindset.com/sanctuary. Okay, so let's do a recap of today's episode so you are on track for a new plan for the year ahead that is dynamite for you. Firstly, it's understandable that we want to make New Year's plans and fertility plans, but it can feel like an anticlimax at the start of any year, and especially this year when we're still living in challenging times. Then we looked at why New Year's resolutions often fail and how using willpower to make changes is actually just forcing ourselves to do something against our will. We then explored how digging a little deeper can help us understand the thoughts, feelings and actions behind why we find it hard to make changes. And if we understand them, we can then start to work with and through them and find a new, much healthier mindset to support us as we create and then begin a plan for the new year. Take a little time over this. Approach your New Year planning in a different way this year, and you will be so fired up to create a plan that truly works for you. Now, as we end this episode and also get close to the end of the launch week of the Fertile Mindset podcast, here is one final reminder about the big launch week giveaway. If you're listening before Friday, the 8th of January, don't miss out on entering. There are 3 ways you can enter the giveaway. By subscribing to this podcast wherever you listen, and this will mean that you're notified when new episodes go live too. Also by writing a review on Apple Podcasts, and thank you so much for doing that. And lastly, by sharing about the podcast anywhere on social media that you're happy to do so. You can find posts to share on Facebook at Fertile Mindset and Instagram at Fertile_Mindset. To enter the draw, send a screenshot of each subscription, review or share to support@fertilemindset.com, and for each one you'll be entered into a draw to win a one-to-one package of Fertile Mindset support Zoom sessions with me worth £360. Remember to send those screenshots to support at fertilemindset.com. You can check out all the details of the prize draw and the closing date and time at fertilemindset.com/podcast. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Fertile Mindset podcast. I look forward to continuing to chat with you every Thursday. Have a great week and enjoy your New Year planning. I'm so pleased you're listening to the Fertile Mindset podcast, and now I would love to invite you to join us in the Fertile Mindset Sanctuary. The Sanctuary is my fertility support membership, which is focused on taking care of you and helping you enjoy your life while you wait for your baby. In the Sanctuary, I'll guide you through using an amazing technique called EFT or tapping, and you'll soon be feeling less stressed and more joyful. If you're not already in the Sanctuary, do come and join us today, because the best time to start receiving support on your fertility journey is always right now. Honestly, it makes such a difference to have good quality emotional support and techniques that you can pick up and use yourself whenever you need them. Go to fertilemindset.com/sanctuary to join us today. I look forward to hopefully seeing you there and at the next episode of the Fertile Mindset podcast.